Kelly Malazzi, how do you know when it's time to get out of print?
When I look at my watch.
Oh, that's your
Just
answer.
kidding.
Oh
I'm
my.
totally kidding.
All right, so let's talk about that then. This is probably the bad mood that we're in last week's Short Attention Span webinar. So get out of print, and we made a list of 5 bullet points. Number 1, if you are the lowest price, do us a favor, get out of print. Kelly, have you ever met the person who's got the lowest price?
I don't think I have. I
Okay.
mean, I don't, because I don't think anybody necessarily really wants to raise their hand and go, "That's me."
Yeah, right.
But you do, but in reality, because we're being really honest right now, you're killing us. Like you're ruining it for everybody.
Right. Right, and the thing is, it's always about price. You're not doing anything but dragging it down. You're putting paper and ink through. You're probably no profit in this thing. So,
Right.
no, number 1, that's a favor for all of us. The second one is you stop adapting and learning. If you're not growing, and you're not constantly learning, it's time to call it a day.
Yeah.
Because you know what was the Graham Parker book? If you what got you here won't get you there.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter where you are, so there was a certain set of customers, there was a certain set of some equipment, some solutions, whatever it was, got you to this point. If you start resting on your laurels and you're in cruise control,
Yeah.
do us a favor.
And it's okay. It's okay to do if you want to. Just it's okay to gracefully go. But yeah, I mean, and a lot of it is scary, and I get that. Like all this talk with like Kevin Keane about augmented reality. I mean, it scares me a little, but I feel like if I just learn a little bit every week, or I at least read what he's posting and try to understand it, the scariest thing for us is to raise our hands and go, I don't know about that.
Right.
But at least that's the first step of going, I can learn it. Just read a blog or read an article or get a book or go to a seminar, or when you're at Graph Expo, ask some questions. But yeah, you're right. If that need and want to learn those things goes away, then you may be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, which is just. And this happened, when I worked for Canon. I would go into places. This was back in '09, where guys were like, "End of the year, I'm going fishing," and I'm like, "Okay, see ya." It's okay to just decide that
Sure.
you're done.
Sure. Next thing is, if someone asks you when it's time to get out of print, and you say, "Well, when I look at my wristwatch, it's time to get out of print." If you think that print is dead, if you think that, in your words, Kelly, that digital media has greater power, if you're buying into that, well, you know what, that's not a viable form of communication anymore, get out of print.
Right.
So instead, we say it's meant to augment. It's a tool in the toolbox.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the 300 to 400 emails you get every day in your inbox that you just delete or ignore until they pile up versus a really cool piece that comes in the mailbox. There's also a lot of studies being done on retention as far as ebooks versus real books. And I'm actually experiencing this right now. I started reading a book on my Kindle, but it expired, the library loan expired. So I went and checked out the book from the library. And now I'm actually finishing the book in book form.
Huh.
And I kind of, from a sensory perspective and from a mental perspective, I'm enjoying reading the book more.
Yeah.
And they're saying that students are not retaining as much when they read ebooks, and it's harder to go back and refer. Like when you're flipping through an ebook, how do you know where 20 pages ago was?
Right.
So these are things we really do need to be thinking about.
And this one I love. You know what? If you've lost your curiosity, if you no longer pick up a beautifully printed piece and say, "Wow, I wonder who did this," it's time to get out of print. There's something basic about that. I mean, you have to have a love for it.
It's probably how foodies feel about food, when they go to a restaurant and they wonder about that ingredient in there. It's like, it's because it's in your heart, it's in your bones, it's in your blood to pick up something and go, "Oh, I wonder if this is that new, whatever paper from whatever paper company." And yeah, if you've lost that love and feeling, like, it's maybe time to go.
And this is another key one too, this last point, which is that you're no longer excited to teach a newbie. And that was one of yours. I thought that was brilliant. You got to pass it on to the next generation.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I've actually been cooking up a couple of ideas for my blog about how different it was, 20 years ago, but even more so is that more than anything, we need to foster new people to come into this industry, or another 10 years from now, it's gonna look like there's nobody left,
Yeah.
So it is about, I mean, it's about respecting our history. And I just wrote my blog, I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago, about like where all over the country there are really cool, like museums and installations where, Ben Franklin era printing presses are. And I just saw one at the Naper settlement. They had a little print shop, and I got all puffed up and excited when I walked in there to say, like, this is the way it used to look, and what typesetting by hand looked like. And, again, it's about respecting our history and knowing where we came from, and fostering that love and that passion in the younger generation.
So I guess my only other question here is, okay, so if you've just described me and I don't want to get out of print, how do I recharge my batteries? Is it going fishing? Is it taking a break?
Well, sure. I mean but that's a temporary fix. I mean, you'll feel really good for those 7 days, and you'll feel, energized when you come back. But I think part of it is community.
Okay.
It's going to that GLGA meeting, or going to that NAPL seminar, or going to your local, Ben Franklin chapter, or whatever you can do to be around other people who feel the same way you do. Because sometimes the commiseration is important too. It's not just, you don't want to sit around and moan and groan all the time. But it is nice to know that other people feel the way you do.
Yeah.
To say, yeah, I'm having these problems, but what are some ideas that we have to solve them? Because we as a community get stronger when we all succeed.
And here's my suggestion. Here's my own answer. I would say two things. Number one is to go and visit customers. Go and talk to your customers and say, where are you going? What's new with you? What's going on in your industry? Talk to them, all right? Because that gets the juices flowing. The second thing is, and I love doing this, get out of the office with a pen and a blank pad of paper and go sit in front of some body of water and just empty the contents of your head. Write down all your questions, write down everything that comes to mind, and make that just kind of a regular type of thing to do, quarterly, something like that, where you're just... It's amazing, when you get that Zen time, there's something renewing about that as well. But definitely go talk to your customers. I think that's clutch.
I think talk to your vendors too.
Okay,
Go ask your paper guy what's new. What can I take to my to my customers?
People.
Go ask anybody, your equipment vendors, your digital press vendors, what's new in software.
Sure.
Try to just like learn something new. Try to understand some new technology or yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. And we'll talk to you all next week on another short attention span webinar.
Thanks, Bill.
This is my papal wave.
I know, that was nice.
Thank you very much.